Hi, it's Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Sorry, I'm starting just a few minutes late. Our guest speaker is having a little bit of trouble getting logged in, so I sent her an email with a special link to get on, and hopefully she'll be here in just a few minutes. But I'm still waiting for her to be here. But before I introduce her when she gets on, I wanted to give you a little bit of background for those of you that are new to our channel here at Panama Relocation Tours. Back in 2010, I moved to Panama and I started Panama Relocation Tours. And we specialize in helping people move to Panama and have a hassle-free move to Panama. No hiccups, no interactions with people that want to take advantage of you. We just do everything we can to try to help you have a smooth move and also hook you up with the right people, the right immigration attorneys that charge a fair price, a reasonable, affordable price, the right real estate people that don't upcharge anything, the right insurance people, pet relocation, everything you need. We have that. And so there's a couple of different ways that we can help you move to Panama. One is our all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama Relocation Tours. And by the way, we just added a couple of new dates. So you might go to our website, Panama Relocation Tours, and click on book a tour, and then you can see all the dates that we've added. We've added about 6 new tours for the rest of the year. Another way that we can help you is our private tours. If you know that you want to move to a certain area, to Panama City, to Coronado, Boquete, Bocas del Toro, wherever, we offer private tours in just those certain areas. Our all-inclusive tours goes all the way across the country, beaches, mountains, affordable, more expensive. So you get to see a variety of different places, but the private tours are real focused on just one area. And you can do a 1-day or 2-day private tour. It's only about $250 for up to 2 people on a private tour. So it's a good way to see and get a deep dive into the country. We also have something called our online Panama Relocation Guide, which is basically the things that you would learn during a tour, but it's a home study course. So you can learn everything at home in the comfort of your home, and then move to Panama on your own. We have a whole self-guided tour section if you want to just do a tour on your own and not hire a private tour guide. So excuse me for just a minute. I'm going to check on the lady that's our guest speaker and see what her status is. So she's still not, here she comes. Now I see her. So this is Vicky. So I'm going to introduce Vicky. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Jackie.
There you are.
We had a bit of a technical snafu, didn't we? Is the volume okay?
The volume's good. If you could just move your camera just a little bit, that would help. So we can get you a little more centered. There we go. Okay. Right there. We're good. Okay. So everybody, I want to introduce you to Vicky, who moved to Panama. When did you move to Panama? What? Not that long ago. Last year, right?
5 months ago this week.
Yeah, 5 months ago. So 5 months ago. So let's give everybody a little bit of background about where you moved from and, why did you pick Panama? I'm sure you looked and researched a bunch of other countries, but why was Panama the place at the top of your list?
Well, I had been subscribing to an international magazine for quite a few years because I was looking to live and move to another country and work there in another country. And one thing that did resonate with me was that Panama was consistently one of the top 3 countries to live, to work, or to retire in. For several years. And so I had started doing some research, and Panama Relocation Tours immediately popped up in that research. And the rest, I think, was a little bit of a history lesson there for me, because once I indicated that I was wanting to go on a tour, everything was booked up because it was shortly after the country opened because of COVID. And So I talked to Dustin, and he said, "Oh, okay." Well, and Melissa also. They said, "Okay, well, just sign up for the backup list because sometimes people cancel." And so I thought, "Oh, okay." And so I signed up for the backup list. And Jackie, I kid you not, it wasn't 2 weeks later that I got a call, and they said, "Oh, hey, we got an opening. So if you want to come, you can." And I couldn't get that money to them fast enough.
Yeah. By the
And
way, Dustin is my son and Melissa's my daughter. And my daughter's on phone duty, so she handles all the phone calls that come in. And my son, he handles, reservations for the tours and letting the hotels know how many people we have at each one. So it's a family business. Mom and her son and her daughter run this whole operation besides our fantastic tour guides that we have that actually do the tours. So when did you come on a Panama relocation tour?
it was in July of 2021.
Okay. Okay. And whenever you did the tour, you saw a lot of different places and a lot of different climates. Some were hot, some were not hot, some were more affordable, some were more expensive. So which area did you decide to move to and why?
Okay. Well, you're right. We went to a lot of different areas. Some of the areas were still a little bit closed because of COVID.
Right.
But as soon as that bus pulled into Boquete and stopped at the Boquete sign, I thought, "Oh, hallelujah. I am home."
Yeah.
It was just something about Boquete that resonated with me. The climate was, ideal. The climate is ideal for me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a beautiful, 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 beautiful city.
Right.
And as I inhale very deeply, I smell flowers. I didn't smell exhaust fumes. I smelled flowers. And so everything, all of the boxes were just being ticked off. I mean, this is such a beautiful town. And the people are so engaging, so open.
And
And
friendly.
I think I'm home. I feel more at home here than I've ever felt anywhere else,
And you're
ever.
like me. If I remember right, you moved from Houston, Texas. Is that right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
moved from the Houston
So
area.
you basically lived in either an air conditioner most of the year. You had an air conditioner running all the time. Just like me, I moved from Texas also, and I was looking for a place where I would never need an air conditioner again. I just wanted to have my windows open and have fresh air. And not just Boquete, but Volcan and other places that are in the highlands, you can do that in Panama. And it's just amazing that there's places in the world where you don't need an air conditioner or a heater, either one. So I'm like you. I really like to live in a place where there's no air conditioner that's needed. So you came on the tour in July and then you decided, okay, this Panama thing might work for me. I think I'm going to move there, right?
Yep. In fact, I didn't think I was going to move here. I knew I was going to move here. It was just when. So I tried to do all the numbers, and I looked at maybe possibly moving the end of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was my initial plan. But as we know, plans sometimes are meant to be um, adjusted. I'll
Yeah.
just use that term, adjusted.
Sometimes
And
destiny gets in the way and puts you on a different path.
well, I was working for an international consulting company, very, very large. And I had been working prior to COVID for a few months. I was working on a remote project. And then
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole, 2-year COVID span, I was working remotely, as most of my colleagues were also working remotely. But then, you know, I got an email from my manager, and he told me, "Well, we are submitting you for this other project, and the client wants everybody to be on site."
Mm-hmm.
And the client was in Washington, D.C. And
Oh,
so I
no.
thought about that, and I realized that I did not want to do that. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the way it works. I would leave on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, flying to where I'm going to be working. And then I worked through the whole week there. And then after work, which is late Thursday nights, I would fly back home to Houston. Most of the time, I wouldn't get back to my place until well after midnight, maybe 1 a.m. or so in
That
the morning.
doesn't sound like any fun at all. And,
No.
moving to
And then I
Washington,
would have to,
D.C.,
and
it's
Jackie,
so expensive.
and then I would have to work from my home office or from the Houston branch on Friday for a full day. So there is really no time. And I did that for many, many, many years as a tech IT consultant. And I thought about that after I got the email, and I'm thinking, no, this is not going to work for me. I'm just going to have to like play with some numbers. And so I did that over the weekend. And that Monday morning, I submitted my resignation. 7 weeks later, I was here in Boquete.
Wow, pretty fast. Pretty fast. And it's so much more affordable here in Panama than it would be living in Washington, D.C., or even living in Houston. It's so much more affordable that a lot of people are able to retire early. They don't have to keep on working and keep on working. They can just say, that's it, I'm done. And so it's time for me. Yeah. So you moved here about seven weeks after your tour. Is that right? I think I've lost the connection with you. I see you, but I can't hear you.
No, I moved my tour when. You cannot.
Yep, I'm getting kind of every other word. So let's try it again.
Cannot.
So you moved here about two months after your tour. Is that right? Whoop. Now we're sideways. Nope, we got to go the other way. You're sideways now. So, Vicki, so right now there we go. Now you're back up. Now I can see you again. So moving from Houston, did you ship a shipping container? I know you brought 2 cats, and we're going to talk about that whole situation in just a little bit, but did you ship a shipping container, or did you just bring a bunch of suitcases with your clothes? What all did you bring with you? Can you hear me? We can't hear you. Let me try to adjust your microphone here. Yeah, I'm not hearing you, Vicki. Say something. Can you hear me? Technology is great when it works, but it's just not working. I can't hear you, Vicki. Vicki, let me tell you what you might need to do. You might need to log out and then log back in. So log out of the link that I sent you and then log back in, and I think that might fix everything. If you can hear me. I'll send you a WhatsApp. Oh, there she goes. She got it. So sorry about the technical problems. That's life in the fast lane here, trying to do live streams. It seems that sometimes we have technical problems, and sometimes we get through the whole live stream and we don't have any problems at all. But Vicki will be back in just a little bit. I've asked her to log out and log back in, so she'll be back with us in a little bit. But I can tell you, Mercury retrograde. Yeah, that could be it also. So I can tell you that Vicki moved here by herself. She did bring 2 cats, and she had a little bit of a problem with the cats, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Whenever she gets back in, I don't want to spill the beans and share the story. I want her to share the story with you. But the whole purpose of this live stream is to let you know that a lot of times whenever we do our Panama relocation tours, about half of the people on the tour are married couples or partners, and half of the people on the tour are singles. Some are men, some are women. And yes, there are a lot of married couples that move to Panama, but there's also a lot of single people that move to Panama too. And, especially for singles, whenever they're looking down the barrel at retirement that's coming up, and they're looking at, how much money they have in savings and how much they might get from their pension or Social Security. If you're just one person, that number's much smaller than if it's a couple living together. So especially singles, whether it's women or men, are looking for a more affordable place that they can live. Now, they may move someplace within their own city or with their own country, or downgrade their house. There's all kinds of things you can do if you want to stay right where you are. But the time to start planning that retirement, regardless of what your age is as soon as possible, so that you can start crunching some numbers. She's back. Here we go.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. She's back.
Great.
So I was just telling people that whenever you're single and there's just that one pension check or one Social Security check that's coming in, then you need to do additional planning. But there's a couple retiring together, they have two Social Security checks or two pensions perhaps that they have to retire on. And so it's a little bit easier. But with singles, you really need to start doing that planning in advance on, how much money am I going to have for retirement, and then where can I live that's going to fit that amount of money without continuing to work until you drop, like a lot of people do. It's so sad when I go back to the United States, and a couple of times I've been to like a Walmart or a Target in the US, I see these people that look like they're 80 or 90 years old that can barely stand up, and they're working, bagging groceries or checking people out because they need that income. If they would just move to Panama, it would solve everything for them. So now that we have you back online, when you moved to Panama, did you just come down with a couple of suitcases, or did you ship a container with you?
Well, I was supposed to bring 4 large shipping containers, but the week that I was scheduled to move, and then the day that I was scheduled to fly out, there are a few little emergencies that popped up. So I wound up bringing 4 suitcases, 2 for myself, and then 2 with cat toys and cat items.
Right. So you did move to Panama with 2 cats, but there's a problem whenever you're moving with small pets. They have to fit underneath the seat in front of you, and there can just be 1 pet for 1 person. So if I remember right, you found somebody else. You said, I'll buy your ticket. I'll pay for you to come to Panama if you'll just bring 1 of my cats with me. Well, tell what happened with that situation.
Okay. Yeah, I got the ticket, and it was like almost $900. She approached me and she said, "Well, I heard you were looking for someone to carry one of your cats aboard to Panama, and I'm available if you'd like to consider me." And I said, "Oh, okay, this is great. This is really great." And so I got her ticket, and then I gave her $200, and the morning that we were supposed to fly out, she was a no-show.
She just didn't show up. That's terrible.
Yeah, she was a no-show. And
Just
so
left you hanging. So you had to come down with just 1 cat, and then I guess you left your other cat at your apartment or with a friend. And then what did you have to do?
well, I was panicking because I kept messaging her. I said, "Where are you?" She said, "Well, I'm in the Delta line." I said, "No, you're not, because I'm in the Delta line." And this is like at 3 a.m. in the morning. So, so it's easy to find people. So I thought, after all of this, and then the communication just went cold. And so I thought, okay, well, I can go back to the airport hotel, because that was where I spent the night. And that hopefully the room is still available, and then I'll go and then make some arrangements, contact the airlines again, contact Golden Frog, contact the Airbnb, and just so many changes that I had to make, because I was not going to be flying out then. So I went back to the hotel and I regrouped. And I didn't panic, because I thought, okay, when you get to Panama, then you can panic, but you can't panic right now, because you need to have a clear head. And so that's kind of what I did. I flew the next day with 1 cat to Panama, and I met Jose with Golden Frog there at the airport, and I had told him the day before what happened, and so
Yeah.
he was so awesome. He goes, "Oh, no problem. We'll take care of everything related to the cats. Don't worry, just breathe. Don't worry."
Mhm.
And so I get there to the airport, and I meet him. I gave him the carrier with the cat, the money, the paperwork, and then I rushed back to get the next flight back to
So you just
to
took the next flight back to Houston
uh-huh.
and get your other cat and then came back again. And
Hmm.
the whole situation with bringing pets into the country, it's a time sensitive situation because you have to get the international pet certificate and it has to be authenticated by the US Embassy if you're a US citizen, then authenticated by the Panama consulate. And all those things have to be done in a certain time frame before you can get on the plane with your pet. And if it's too far, then they wouldn't let you on the plane. So I can see why you had to fly right back and get your cat, because otherwise you'd have to start all over again with the paperwork. But you got both of your pets here. And you already knew that you wanted to move to the Boquete area. So did you already have a rental lined up, or did you stay at like an Airbnb while you were looking for something?
I stayed at Airbnb for a month, and that was one of the best things I could have done. It
Yeah,
was off the beaten path as far as wasn't directly in El Centro, but it was just 10-minute walk to El Centro, and so it was really quiet because I'm a light sleeper. So it was really quiet, and it was just awesome.
mhm.
I can't say enough about, and maybe I could go back and talk about Jose at Golden Frog.
Okay.
Um, the vet had placed um, some of the paperwork for both pets on one sheet of paper, and I had given all of that to Jose. And
Mhm.
so the next day, Jose says, "Well, where's your other paperwork?" I said, "Well, I gave it to you yesterday. Remember?" He said, "No, no, you need one for your second cat." I said, "Oh, the vet had placed all of that information on just on one sheet." He said, "Don't worry." And he said, "I'll take care of it." He took care of everything because he has that relationship with
Right.
what was Mensa, I think it is,
Yeah.
um,
With
and
Mensa.
and Panama. And so he saved me. He saved my skin, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough good things about him and the services that he provided. I don't know how I would have been able to manage on such short notice like that if it wasn't
Right.
for him and his
And
expertise.
just knowing, even if you were just bringing one cat or one dog, just knowing you have someone on the Panama side that's going to greet you with your pets, get you through um, the whole thing with the veterinarian, inspecting them, making sure the paperwork is stamped and right, and just getting you to where you need to go. It's just comforting to know that there's somebody that knows what they're doing that's on the Panama side to hold your hand and help you through that process.
And he did just that too.
Yeah.
Actually, I if everyone, if you aren't familiar with Golden Frog or Jose, he is one of the expert vendors that Jackie has on the online guide. And I've used those. I've used quite a few of those experts on the online guide. And again, they have really, really, really helped me a lot.
Yeah. And that's why we have that. We want to make sure that you get with the right people and not people that could take advantage of you or charge too much money or, just do things the wrong way. So we only recommend people that we know are going to do a good job at a fair price. And Jose is definitely one of those. So you stayed at an Airbnb for about a month. And that's one of the things we really recommend that you do. We don't recommend that you rent something without seeing it yourself personally. So you did the right thing to stay in an Airbnb so you could physically go out and look at the different rentals that were potentially available. So tell us about the place that you're renting.
Okay. Um, it is in, and I'm looking here, I'm looking outside at the beautiful mountain view that I have here. And then I have a beautiful mountain view here. It
Mm-hmm.
is in a resort community called Valle Escondido. It's a one bedroom apartment. It is just, the view is breathtaking. It's magnificent. My two
You
cats
think you
love.
can turn your computer and show us that view?
Oh, okay.
Try to turn it.
I'm on my phone right now.
Oh, well, then you can do
Okay.
it. Show us on your
Sure.
phone. We want to see the
Okay.
view.
Okay, let's go out. I'm going to go on the terrace, okay?
Okay, we want to see it.
Can you see
I
anything?
can see.
Okay.
Woo-hoo. Look at that. And you can see how there's a little bit of mist on top of the mountains. It's because it's thinking about raining. It was raining a little bit ago, but yes, that's an amazing view. And one of the things about Valle Escondido, it's actually a short walk to Main Street. So whenever you live in Valle Escondido, even though it's a gated community, but it's just a couple of blocks from Main Street. So you can walk to restaurants, you can walk to grocery stores, you can walk to all of those things. So who wouldn't want to live in a beautiful place like that in the mountains? Aren't you glad I had her show it to you? Thank you, Vicki.
Okay, so let's go back in.
And you have a great big terrace there too. That's amazing.
Yes, my cats love it.
Mm-hmm.
My boy cat here, and he's in a cat tree right now, and it's a cat tree that Julie from Simplify Panama, who's also in the online guide, that she found. It's a 6-foot cat tree. Let me see if I can show that to you.
Okay.
And
oh yeah, that's a nice one.
You can see it, okay?
Turn the camera a little bit more in the other direction. We're only seeing the corner of the room.
Oh, okay.
Other way. Other way.
Oh, let's see. Let me just stand up.
So how do the cats like living in Panama?
They like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the door. So this is the other way around. Oh, I'm not sure what's happening with the phone here. But anyway, we'll see. Oh, I know. Okay. Now, let's see here. Say hi, Bobby. Well, anyway, it's not working so well for me.
It's okay. So yeah, someone said Buster's going to be jealous. Actually, Buster has a great big cat tree also, so he has one. Now we lost the video. Vicky's back. Now we have the video back. We're good. Okay, we're good. So you got a great place to live. I know that you mind sharing with everybody what you're paying. You're in a gated community, so it has 24-hour security. It's beautiful landscape, really nice area, just a couple blocks. So about what are you paying for your rent there, if you don't mind sharing it?
I'm in a 1-bedroom, but I am looking to move to a larger place with a 2-bedroom because I need a home office, and I pay $9.75 a month here. When I was in Houston, I had a small 1-bedroom. It was actually smaller than this, and I was paying $18.30 a month.
Wow.
It includes nothing. The $9.75 that I'm paying now includes everything. The internet.
It's furnished, and it includes the utilities too.
See.
Yeah.
Yes.
So see, people, you really can live better for less in Panama, right? I've been telling you.
And that really wasn't the real motivating factor. It was just an added perk, though, I tell you. A big added perk.
It's a big added perk. So are you still working remotely, or are you completely retired?
No, I'm not retired. No, I am looking to launch an e-commerce business the latter part of the year. And so it's just taking a little bit longer than what I expected. And I also teach English as a second language. I've taken a break from that until I could get completely settled. So I'm probably going to be going back to doing that again next month.
Yeah, you're kind of like me. I could never completely retire. I like staying busy.
Yeah. And plus you're helping people. And I mean, Panama Relocation Tours helps people.
Exactly.
Otherwise I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I love helping people. So, so obviously going on a tour and the information in the online guide and the support system that we have on our private Facebook group, has that made your transition to moving to Panama easier? Can you imagine trying to do it all on your own?
I would not have been able to do any. I would not have even gotten beyond the first day. I mean, let's be honest. Jose at Golden Frog, he he really saved me in that respect. But yes, I think all of everything, including the attorney, my attorney, I've gotten about maybe 8 or 9 different experts from the online guide. And
Mhm.
I had contacted the attorney before I even um, left the United States a couple of months beforehand because that's what you recommended. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna do just what Jackie recommended because she's an expert. She knows how to get people to this country. I know nothing about moving and living in another country, so that's what I did. And he was just awesome. He
Yeah,
was awesome. His whole
if you
staff
just
was awesome.
follow the things that we recommend and use the people we recommend, then you're going to have an easy move to Panama. So we have a lot of single women and single men that are on this call. You have any recommendations for them, or even for the married couples? But do you have any recommendations as a single woman moving to Panama? Do you have any recommendations for them on how to get acclimated with the community, how to meet people, how to get involved in maybe some of the nonprofit organizations is a good way to meet people. So what's worked for you as far as meeting people?
Well, I've had to pull back. I know at one point you talked about that, I think on a call or something, that it's easy to get overextended because there's
Yes,
so much to do. And
yes.
and so I mean, there's so much to do, and there's so many things, so many groups, so many organizations. It's just a lot to do, and so I kind of got burned out my first 2 months because I was like jumping into
I
everything
know.
because it was so much fun.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I actually have an article that on my website. You guys might want to check this out. If you go to Panama Relocation Tours, and in the upper right-hand corner of the search feature, put in 9 mistakes. Just type that in. That's all you need to write. The title of the article is 9 Mistakes New Expats Make When They Move to Panama. And one of those is getting too involved in too many things to where your calendar's just full and you're exhausted at the end of the day because you're just overextended. So it's better to just pick one thing and see how that goes, and maybe try another thing. So when you moved to Panama, did you buy a car?
Well, I was not planning to buy a car.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't planning to buy a car, but for my first 2 long weekends, I did rent a car. Because I had to go and pick up a lot of cat litter and just cat related things, as well as some other
Mm-hmm.
things for my own personal needs and use. But then I started thinking, another part of me says no, because I want to do all of this traveling to other countries. I'm thinking if I bought a car, it's going to like dig into my budget. So I held off until January. And so January, I'm thinking, no, I need to get a car because I was at that point, after my first 2 weekends, I was renting a car. I mean,
Right.
continuously, just renting a vehicle. Oh, by the
Right.
way, I did rent the vehicle from Cowboy Cars, and they're in the online guide, and they were just fantastic. Kathy and her
Mhm.
husband, just
Yeah,
they're great. Yeah.
they're great.
And the rates were, I mean, they're not brand new cars, but they're well serviced. I never had any issues, and they were about
Mhm.
half the price of other rental car
Well,
agencies.
and there is a lot of shopping that's available in Boquete, the Lorena department store, and several different grocery stores. So there's a lot of things, and even some pet stores. But even from Valle Escondido, getting to the pet store in Alto Boquete, or even the one that's downtown, or Milo, um, if you're buying a lot of cat food or cat litter, you've either got to get a taxi to take it back. So I can see how, for some people, if you don't have pets, and you might be able to get by just fine with walking to different things, but having a car really opens up the universe to you of the places you can go. You can go down to David to go to Price Mart, or you can go to Federal Mall, or you can go to American Pets is in David. It's a huge pet store that has those cat trees that's in David. So it does open up new opportunities to you whenever you have a car. And it's not in everybody's budget to do that. You can take the bus for $1.75 to get from Boquete to David, but having a car does give you a certain amount of freedom to just go and do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Mhm.
So congratulations on your car.
Well, I used one of the brokers
The
from
car broker.
yeah, from the online guide also, and so he was fantastic, and I worked that man to death. I really did. Um, he checked the vehicle out. Turns out the vehicle was sold by the owner was a
Right,
friend with his cousin, so he had a special connection there, and
right.
um, he drove the car from Panama City to me here. But before that, I told him, I said, look, Miguel, I want to get brand new Bridgestone tires. He said, well, the tires still look pretty good. You probably got another 10,000 miles on. I said, no, no, no. I want to get brand new tires. I want them to be Bridgestone because, I wanted to make sure that in the rainy season that I had
Really
some
good
brand new
time.
tires.
Right.
And then I had him to get one of the backup cameras, for the backup because
Hmm.
I don't want to have like a cramp in my neck all the time. And so he got that, and not only did he get that, he got more than what I asked him to get for the same amount of money.
Right.
And he did a lot of other things. He said, "Oh, Miguel, I have to do this and have to do this." He said, "No, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of all of that." I'm thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is awesome! For what you charge, you're going to do all of this." And it's, oh yeah, that's part of my job. And so,
So for
I,
people that don't know, a car broker, kind of like you would go to a real estate agent and say, I'd like to buy a 2 bedroom, 2 bath house, and this is my budget. I don't want to go over that price. And then they go search and they find all the different houses that might fit your budget that are just right. A car broker is the same way here in Panama, and especially because you may not know Spanish, you don't know the procedures for buying cars, for changing titles, for doing all those things, and you want to make sure it's done right. So you have the title in your name for the car. So we recommend using a car broker. And we have several different car brokers that we recommend that we know are honest, they're ethical, they charge a fair price. But you got to be careful. There's some car brokers here in Panama that they've taken advantage of people. But the ones that we recommend, we know we don't have to worry about that. But you just tell them, I'd like to have a pickup truck, or I'd like to have an SUV. And you would usually say, I want it to be automatic transmission or manual transmissions, okay? And tell them what your budget is, and they'll go find all the different ones that are available. And then they send you pictures and information about what's available, and you pick the one you want, and then they take care of everything else and they deliver it right to you. It's so easy. And if you're living in Boquete like Vicky is, there's not very many cars to choose from. There are cars, but not very many. There's a much bigger selection of used cars available in Panama City. That's where the majority of the cars are. So a lot of our car brokers, even if they live in, let's say, Las Tablas, they'll go to Panama City to buy cars to bring to you, because you're going to get a better selection and better prices buying something in Panama City. But they take care of everything, the paperwork and everything for you to get it to you. So congratulations on your wheels that now you can get around. Do you mind if I open it up for some questions for some of the people in our audience?
oh,
Is that
sure,
okay?
sure.
So if anybody has a question for Vicky, you know the routine, put 3 question marks in front of it, and then I will pop it up on the screen and Vicky will answer your question. So here's one from Sylvia right here. Vicky, your move came much sooner than you originally planned. What were the trickler parts for you in accelerating your timeline? So the big thing was that email that you got that they wanted you to go to Washington, D.C. Was that the only thing, or were you just, once you left Panama, you were probably missing Panama, right?
Um, yeah, I was like daydreaming about Panama um, after the tour was over in 2021, and
Mm-hmm.
ah, it was difficult for me to stay grounded there in the United States when
Mm-hmm.
I knew what was available for me here. A lot of
Right.
adventure. Oh, I mean, and look the beauty. You guys saw some of
Yeah.
the environment, the beauty, the clean air, the abundance food. In fact, in this province, I read, I think it's something like 90% of all of the produce for the country is grown in this province. So you
Right.
get like a lot of really good fresh fruit and
When
fresh
you're buying
vegetables.
broccoli, it was probably picked yesterday. When you're
Mhm.
getting tomatoes, they get them all the way ripe, and it was just picked this morning or yesterday. So, all the food, carrots and tomatoes and all those things, they have so much more flavor
Uh-huh, they
than
do.
the stuff that you're used to buying. Pineapples, especially, and papaya. They don't
Mhm.
um, whenever they don't, and bananas, they don't pick them when they're green. You get them when they're ready to eat. So it's really fresh, really healthy. Here's a good question from Monique in London, who's our regular. Monique, thank you so much for being here every single Saturday. So what was the biggest challenge Vicki faced as a single woman moving to Panama?
Oh, let's see. The biggest challenge as a single woman. Well, I was a single woman in the United States, at least most of the time. um, oh, let's see. I might have to get back to you on that one, Monique. Um, I think the challenges that I experienced were not necessarily as a single woman, but they were, so for example, uh, I am taking Spanish classes. I have a private instructor, a private tutor twice a week. And so when I leave the Boquete area, or let's say when I go to David to go shopping, and I love going to Price Mart there, um, you don't find the the bilingual people. Um, for example, that work in the stores, in the retail areas, in the banks, all of those places that you would find in Boquete. So Boquete kind of gives you a false sense of security in that respect, that you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to learn the language. And, need is a strong word, but for me, learning the language is one of the reasons why I wanted to move here because I wanted to experience another culture. I want to be immersed in that culture. And if you don't speak the language that the majority of the people speak, then you could be missing out on some of that. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as Bocate, you can really get by without speaking Spanish quite
Yes.
easily. But
Yeah.
that's not what I really want to do. So that's why I'm
But
taking Spanish.
you can definitely in Boquete and Coronado and other places where there's a high concentration of expats, you can get by without Spanish. But the more Spanish you use when you're out interacting with people in the stores or restaurants or the fruit and vegetable stands, the more Spanish you speak, they really, really, really appreciate it, and it just makes you feel more integrated with the community. So, and even if just use something like Duolingo and learn a little, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can pick things up. So, Christine says, what is the year of your car and how much did it cost?
Okay, I have a 2013 car, and with everything that was included, it was a little probably under $10,000 with everything that was added, all the extras.
That's a good
Hmm.
price. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good price. And I used to have, it's an X Trail. I used to have an X Trail, and it's such a good car. It
Hmm.
has really good get up and go. And I love the fact that you can put the seats down and you can put tons of stuff in the back of the car.
Yeah, on the inside, it looks brand new. The guy that the original owner took really good care of the vehicle. He had the maintenance records, so I knew exactly what everything that he had done, and he really did a good job with that vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Donisha wants to know what type of amenities are available in your area. So I don't know, Donisha, if you're speaking specifically of Valle Escondido or the town of Boquete, but what kind of, like in Valle Escondido, you have the golf course, you have a pool, gym. Um, is there still like a putt-putt over there?
He has a
Yeah,
putt putt. They have tennis courts as
the
well.
tennis
They have
court.
the restaurants. They have a hotel. They have a spa. They have a cantina. They have an
Right. They have
amphitheater,
all kinds of things.
and other
Yeah,
things.
amphitheater where they have concerts. But in the town of Boquete, they have several different spas. That there's the Haven and other spas that you can go to. And there's live music events that happen in Valle Escondido. I think on Thursday night is when they have live music at the cantina. But there's just a lot of social activities that go on and a lot of amenities in this area. So, no other question. What happened to the four large containers while you were in the Airbnb? Yeah, did you ever ship the four containers, or where are they?
Um, I tell you, some of the people that I contracted to clean the apartment and everything, they got thousands and thousands of dollars worth of electronics and designer suits and everything. I left all of that behind. Hmm. All of behind. It was a comedy of errors that whole week, like I said. And I had a choice between going to the Apple store and having them to fix the phone, or to go to UPS and take the shipping containers. And so I chose the phone, which I later regret that decision. And everything else was just left there for the contractors. So they got
Mhm.
some good stuff.
So, is there anything you would have done if you had it to do all over again? Is there anything you would have done differently other than getting somebody else to help get your other cat here? Anything else you would have done differently?
Yeah, I would have shipped my shipping containers. I would have sent those off the week before. As it turns out, I was still going through some things, various items, taking out, leaving, whatever, and I ran out of time. It was the night before, and I ran out of time, and I did not allow for the emergencies. And that's one thing that I would strongly suggest you do, especially if you're like me and I moved 7 weeks after I quit my job. Um,
Mhm.
I would account for emergencies, and I would have done all the mandatory things like shipping everything the week earlier. So if this thing with the phone had come up, it would not have impacted as much as it did,
Right.
um, my move and that sort of thing. And let's see. Yeah. And oh, one of the things that I really appreciated that Panama Relocation Tour that you provided there was for the spreadsheet of tasks to be completed and the estimated time frame. And I used that as a point of reference, and I added a lot more. I had like 153 tasks that were there.
Mhm.
But that was so helpful because it kind of kept me um,
That
focused.
checklist.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that checklist.
checklist. And you can
Hmm.
just mark things out. Okay, I did this, I did that, I did these other things. And it helps you not get to Panama and say, oh, darn, I forgot to do this or I forgot to do that. It just helps you stay on track of the things you need. It's a checklist that comes with the online guide of the things you need to do before you move to Panama. So Stephanie wants to know, what does your social life look like now? What kind of entertainment do you do? You don't just stay home watching TV. Do you get out there and enjoy live music sometimes?
I have to try to make myself stay home. Let's put it this way. And kind of things that I consider social and fun, a lot of people don't. So for me, I take a private Spanish class twice a week,
Mhm.
and so that's fun for me. But she gives me, and I gave her what my goals were, my instructor, and so she gives me a lot of homework. So I spend a minimum of 1 hour a day with my homework, my Spanish homework, and the days that I have class, then it's like 2 hours a day. I also belong to a gym. I was at a gym this morning. Um, and so that's just a continuation of what I did when I was in the States. Um, I also belong to a women's group. When I first got here, a few of us were talking on, two or three of us were talking on Facebook about women's groups and that sort of thing, and having an open women's group. And so one of the ladies said, okay, well, why don't we just start our own? And I said, okay, well, I'm in, and and somebody else said they're in. So right now we started the group. It was in November, and we have about 40 members right now. We just had an event yesterday. We had and we went to an executive lunch at Al Punto's, and so that was that's interesting. We have several events per month. We last month, I think it was last month, yeah, about 6 weeks ago, we went to Boca Chica and we had a day at the beach there.
That's always fun. Great.
Yeah.
Well, pre-pandemic, there was a ladies group called the Chicas, and they did, I think twice a month, they'd have a luncheon, and then every once in a while, they do an excursion, like to Las Lajas Beach, or I'll go to Panama City to go shopping or things like that. But, with the pandemic, everything just kind of dispersed. So it's great that you guys started that up again. For people. Does it have a name, your women's group? And how would people find it if they were moved here and they wanted to join?
It's a Facebook group, and it's called Boquete Single Women's, or is it Single Women Boquete?
Okay.
I don't even know the name of the group. Right.
Okay.
But Boquete
I'm sure
Single
they'll
Women's
find it
group.
if they search for that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And it's a really wonderful group. We do a variety of things. I mean, it's just not one thing. We have once a month happy hour now. We do a lot of different dining kind of options. Like I said, just yesterday was lunch. We have dinner sometimes. We took the trip to Boca Chica. We have a game day. We had a game day at the Perfect Latte. And so we there and having snacks, drinking coffee, tea, whatever, hot chocolate.
Yeah, good way to try out
games.
different places.
And so we did a poll to see what members would be possibly interested in. And so we had a list of possible about maybe 35 activities. So the members voted on those. So we're going to be following up there. And we just finished we will be finishing a walking challenge tomorrow, where people would agree to walk 30 minutes a day, and for 21 days. And,
at that new park in Boquete?
Well, no, some could do that, but everybody's on their own. So however, if you want to walk in your neighborhood, you could walk with your dog. If you wanted to go to the gym, walk on a treadmill, you could do all of that. And so that gave everybody a lot more flexibility. So that ends tomorrow. And we just have a lot of different things planned. And we do a lot of different things. We have quite a few events every month, actually.
That's great. That's fantastic. So Sharon wants to know, how close are you to medical services?
Well, if you mean like doctors, they're like doctors right downtown. You can walk down. I could walk down.
Yeah.
To
two blocks to a doctor's office. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a lot of those. In terms of the hospitals, I guess maybe you can talk about that, Jackie.
Yeah. So in Boquete, there is a clinic that you can go to. It's over by the fire department, has the blue roof. So they can do x-rays. You can see doctors or specialists there. Or there's the hospitals that are in David, which are about 40 minutes south of Boquete. But most medical things can be taken care of right in town, unless if you have a heart attack or something like that, they will do a triage in Boquete, and then they'll get you down to one of the hospitals in David where they have more equipment and more facilities and doctors able to take care of that. But everything you need is right there. So.
And one thing, and another thing too is, and Jackie, I don't know, you might want to talk about this as well. I'm just pushing everything out on you, aren't I? A lot of what I heard was that a lot of the medicine that you can get in the United States, if it's available here, a lot of the times the medicine or the medication is much cheaper. And then there are a lot of medicines that you can get here that don't even require prescriptions.
Yeah, most medications, unless it's an antibiotic or a narcotic, you need a prescription for that. Anything else, you don't need a prescription, like insulin, things like that, you don't need a prescription for it. And some medications are a lot cheaper, and some medications do cost more. So one of the things we really advise, if you take medications, whenever you come on a Panama relocation tour or one of our private tours, is visit a pharmacy and see if your medications are available and see what they're going to cost. If they're more expensive here in Panama, there's always a plan B. And the plan B is that you could order them from like Amazon Pharmacy, send the prescription to Amazon Pharmacy, and you can have it shipped in perhaps at a much cheaper price from Amazon Pharmacy. So Tammy wants to know, have you been able to meet and make friends easily? Sounds like.
Yeah, one of the things that impressed me was that when I first got here, everybody wants to know your story. You know, oh, where you come? You how long have you been here? Oh, you should just come here. Meet us here. Give me your phone number. Give me your WhatsApp number. And so it's easier, much easier, I think, to make friends here than in the United States.
Yeah.
At least for me, it has been.
It is. Well, you know, part of it's a smaller town, but it's definitely easier, and people are just outgoing and friendly. Whether it's Panamanians or expats, either one, they're outgoing and friendly. And if you were to go to a restaurant and you were sitting there all by yourself, if somebody was sitting at some other table, they'd say, "You don't need to sit by yourself. Come over here and sit with us." You know, did you just move here, or are you visiting? So those kind of things will happen. So you don't have to worry about being isolated unless you choose to be here in Panama. But, you know, just go with the flow. And if people say, come and join us at our table, go join them at their table, and you just meet some new friends that way. There's so many interesting people from all over the world and all different backgrounds. So it's real interesting to meet people and learn about their background and their history here. So another question, would you consider Volcan as a place to live? We visited Volcan during the tour.
Well, for me, I probably would not as a place to live because of the enhanced social interaction that Boquete offers. And so for me, you know, Volcan does not offer that kind of social interaction in terms of places to go, things to do, people, just a lot of different social events constantly, you know, all day long, every day. And so I like to be able to pick and choose. Although I'm not a real clubby kind of person. So when I say social event, I don't necessarily mean going to bars or club necessarily, although, you know, they have their place. I mean, there are a ton of different kind of hiking groups and walking groups. I belong to two. And so, you know, it depends on what you want and what you consider social and what you consider fun and what you enjoy doing. But for me, I would not consider
there's something for everybody. Whatever you like as far as social activities, it's probably going to be available in the town that you live in. So Karen wants to know, did you find a salon that does your hair and your nails?
No, I have not had my nails done since I have been here, but I am going to be. There's one lady that I met, and she's back in the States liquidating, selling her house, and she's going to be coming back. And when she does, she does expert massages and facials and all those kind of things. So I am going to, and I told her when I messaged her like 2 or 3 days ago, I said, when are you coming back? Because I need you to do something for me. But as far as hair and stuff, I do my own.
Okay.
But they have a lot of different kind of salons here. So if you need a specialty salon like I would, then I would go to David because they have a lot of those there.
There's actually one right in Alto Boquete that can take care of your nails, your hair, and everything. It's called Ladies, and it's right next to Alto Dorado. You'll be really impressed. So go there and check them out. Meet with Ladies, and you'll be impressed. And their prices are super affordable also. So I'm going to take a couple. We've already gone over in our time a little bit, but we started a little bit late. So I'm going to take a couple more questions if it's okay with you, Vicki.
Okay, sure.
Another question from Sharon. What about your kitchen items and furniture? Can you bring it? Yeah, you can bring it, but so many places come completely furnished. You really don't need to.
Yeah, this apartment came completely furnished. It had everything, kitchen, everything, but you know, I'm a little peculiar, so went out and I bought my own dishes and my own beddings and my own throw pillows and those kinds of things. But many of the apartments and homes and houses come fully loaded in that respect.
Yeah, they have, yeah, dishes, sheets and towels and a blender and a coffee maker and everything that you will possibly need. So
Now the
Ross,
one thing that I do wish that I had brought, because I had some real expensive kitchen appliances and things. I wish I had brought sharp knives, because I had some really sharp butcher knives and cutting knives, and I did not bring those. But I wish I had brought those, and you know, a few other things like my tea sets, my china, my fine china.
yeah.
Because
So Rosalind
I like
wants
to
to
do
know,
tea parties. So
it's especially good for the women's group.
yeah, see, yes, that's true. In fact,
Rosalind,
that was there on the poll. It looks like we're going to be having a tea party soon, but it's going to be limited to probably the first 10 people that sign up because of this limitations with space here.
right. So as a single person, do you feel safe in Panama?
I feel so safe here compared to my home country where I came from. It's just it. I have never felt unsafe. I've never felt concerned about anything like that since I have been here. And that's not to say just Valle Escondido, because it's a double. I live in the second security gate. But even when I was in the Airbnb, I was downtown, and so I met a couple of friends in El Centro. We had met I had hot chocolate, they had coffee and desserts, and so it was about 7, and I looked outside and it was dark. I'm thinking, I wonder if they have lights on the street going to my Airbnb. But I wasn't concerned, even if they didn't have lights, because I have my cell phone and there's a flashlight on the cell phone. So I thought I could use that as a backup. But it was never an issue for me walking the street. And if people speak to you, I feel so welcome here. Everybody, you pass people, oh, bueno, buen dia. Yeah. And so I've never felt safe or unsafe in any way, shape, or form here. No. Now, I'm not going to be walking like at midnight down a dark alley, because that's just, pushing fate, so to speak.
Right.
But, I would take the same precautions as I would take any place else, but I've never felt unsafe here at all.
Right. And there's certainly some places in Panama where, a single woman shouldn't be out walking around. And there's some places where it's not as safe as it is in others. But where you live in Boquete, it's absolutely very safe. Most of Panama is very safe. There's just a few areas where you have to really be careful. But we don't even go to those places during the tour, and we don't encourage you to go there. So David wants to know, he says he's from College Station. And aren't you going to miss Houston's heat and humidity and the rush hour traffic?
Well, if I ever miss the Houston heat, I could go to David or Panama City or a lot of places like that. If I ever miss the Houston traffic, there's always Panama City I could go to and just feel all warm and cozy and nostalgic. No, I don't miss any of those.
Isn't it so nice to just have your sliding glass door open and your windows open and have that fresh air without having your air conditioner on?
I know. In fact, they're all open here now, and it feels like air conditioning.
Yeah, I have all of mine open, just a ceiling fan to keep things circulated.
And my cats love it. They love to go out there on the terrace, and they they sunbathe out there. That's what I call it. They like to lay in the sun, so they sunbathe.
Sunbathe. So another question from Donisha. So is your neighborhood in Boquete and it's not a different city?
No, it's in
Yeah,
Boquete.
it's in Boquete. It's just a gated community within the city limits of Boquete. So let me see if I have one more question that I'm going to take here. How did you find your Spanish teacher?
Well, she was advertised. She advertised on Facebook, and I responded to that advertisement. She's wonderful. She really is. And she asked, we had a get acquainted meeting because initially she was coming to here to my place, and I told her, yeah, what we can do, we can do remote. And so we now do it through Zoom most of the time, but sometimes she says we're going to need to meet in person sometimes. And then we can like go out and go to some of the vendors, stores, and things like that. And then I want you to be able to do everything in Spanish. She's not, I said, well, now? She said, no, not at this moment, but soon I'm going to want to do that. And then I want you to speak Spanish. And I do. I practice Spanish all the time, every chance I get. I have no shame, Jackie. And
That's good.
everybody, they appreciate it because I have to practice. And then
Yeah,
I
that's
just
good.
tell them today. In fact, I was in the store this morning, and then I told them, look, I'm studying Spanish, and my Spanish isn't that great. And then they'll smile, they'll grin, and then they'll, when I get the tenses wrong, they will correct me, and then they'll tell me, oh, but I understand you. I understand everything you say. So that feels really good because I really want to be immersed in the culture. If I
Mhm.
wanted to just live the American lifestyle, I would have stayed in the United States. And so for me, it's just getting involved, and I'm starting to make some Panamanian friends here as well. So I'm
Mhm.
pretty happy about moving here. It's one of the
Yeah.
best decisions I could have made. I wish that I could have moved. The only regret is I wish I could have moved. I wish I thought about this and would have moved here sooner.
Yeah.
But I got here as
That was
fast as I could.
that was my biggest regret is once I got here that, oh my gosh, I wish I would have learned about this place 10 years ago. It would have come a lot sooner. And especially if you're a remote worker, you can live
Mhm.
anywhere.
That's
You
true.
can
You
live,
can.
yeah, you can live anywhere. If you have a remote job or some kind of an online business, you're not stuck. You're not a tree.
Mhm.
You can pick up and go and live anywhere. You try out Panama for a while, maybe try out another country for a while and do a test drive and see which one that you like the best. So we have some other questions that have come in, but this has already gone way over our 1 hour interview, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But Vicki, I appreciate you so much sharing your story about moving to Panama with everyone. I know it's going to be an inspiration for a lot of people, single women, single men, and married couples, that if you can do it, they can too. If I can do it, anybody can. When I moved here, I was married with my husband, but he died a few years ago. So I'm a single woman now too. And I'm just like Vicky. I feel completely safe here. I would, if I needed to run to the grocery store at 11 o'clock at night, I don't even know if they're open 11 because I'm usually not out and about then. But I wouldn't think twice about going, to anywhere late at night or doing whatever that I wanted to do in this country. I honestly feel safer here than I would seeing the news of the crazy things that
Mhm.
are happening in North America. I would much rather be here. I would much rather be here.
Can
So
I just
Vicki,
add this one thing?
yeah,
When I looked at this apartment, I took a taxi here, and I had two phones. I have a phone with a U.S. SIM, and I kept that, and I have a Tico phone, a Panama phone with a Panama SIM. And so I'm in the taxi, and so we're talking and everything. And so I get out, and I'm looking at the apartment, whatever. And then I went for my Panama phone because I was going to call the taxi to tell them what time to pick me up, and it wasn't there in my purse. I'm thinking, oh my God, I must have left it in the taxi. And we did not know who the taxi was or anything. So I thought, okay, well, I'll take care of this later. I'll just go to the office and have them to deactivate the SIM card. Well, 5 minutes later, I heard a honking outside of the apartment, and it was a taxi driver, and he's flailing. Is that a word? Flailing. Anyway, he was waving the cell phone. Cell phone, cell phone. And he had come all the way back here. He had passengers also. And he had come all the way back here to give me the phone. And the only thing I could do, I reached in my pocket because he was just slowing down. He did not completely stop. And the only thing I had was like $3. I said, gave it to him. I said, gracias, señor. Gracias, gracias. And if I had more, if he had stopped, then I could have given him a big tip. But those are the kind of things that just stand out for me. And other times I've dropped something and somebody's picked it up. I dropped my wallet one time and somebody picked it up and this guy says, "Oh, señorita," and then he gave me that. And I mean, I have many, many stories like that to tell that just reinforces my decision that I moved to the best place that I could have moved. And I'm so happy here. I'm ecstatic here. If I was any happier, Jackie, I don't know, I would be floating.
Well, I'm so glad that you're happy in Panama, and I'm so glad that your transition has been easy with the help of Panama Relocation Tours, and that you've got this network of friends already that you've developed, because that's really important here in Panama. Even if it's just 4 friends, but to have, a network of people that you can call or contact anytime that you need help with anything. So congratulations on your move to Panama, and I'm so, so happy for you. Thank you for sharing your story with everyone today. And I want to thank everybody that joined us for this live stream. We had about 360 people on this live stream. Yeah, so we had a lot of people. At the peak of it, we had 360. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday for another live stream. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because I have a new video that's coming out tomorrow that you don't want to miss. And we just got through shooting 4 new videos that'll all be coming out soon. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be the first to know about those new videos whenever they come live. Thanks again, Vicki. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.